fans, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Ready's Rise. We're back here at Volkswagen Brandon, and guess what? I have the OG of the hot hatches. What am I talking about? This vehicle right here. This is a 2025 updated, refreshed Golf GTI. But before we get into the Mark 8.5 of this turbocharged hot hatch, let's talk about what's going on here. So yes, the 1980s was the birth of the Golf GTI, that Grand Touring Injected. That's what GTI stands for. And from that moment, it really laid the groundwork to create a cult following of this iconic hatchback. Now, of course, GTI wasn't the end of the story. Eventually, they had the Golf R, which is still available, and both vehicles are receiving updates for 2025. It's not a major redesign, so this is not a Mark 9, it's a Mark 8.5, 8.5. Now, a lot of the competition eventually caught on to this hot hatch phenomenon, and even though maybe there's not as many hot hatches around, you still have some compact vehicles, period, whether they're sedans or hatchbacks, that bring that original philosophy of a small size, big value, but also a driver's engagement that separates it from the rest of the pack. But what I want to find out is this the way to go for 2025 if you're looking for a sport performance compact car, period, whether it's a hatchback or a sedan? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I love the color. Moonstone gray. It reminds me of a Nardo gray from the sister company Audi, and really just kind of gives it an extra cool factor. Now, at the front of the business, this is where you're going to see a lot of the updates. So you're going to have those LED headlights, the daytime running lamp, which extends all the way across the front of the vehicle from driver's side to passenger side, and then working your way down, you're still going to get that same flat black area with the individual fog lamps, the LED fog lamps. Now, I wish that they would have filled up the whole corner, like sprinkled those in the whole corner. That at least would not make it have the fake vent area. So I'm gonna give it a half zonk, because half of it is fake, half of it has the LED lighting, but I do like the way they did the individual LED fog lamps. Now, as we come across the updated badging, so that's your Volkswagen badge, fully illuminated with the lighting that goes across. Every GTI is going to have that red trim, and I like the way that the trim actually flows into the headlight housing, and then you have the GTI badge nicely displayed. Now, on the lower grille area, you still have that full functionality, and you're going to see that intercooler from behind, but look what we have, a radioactive spider. If I was to be bit right now by that spider, I'd be turning into Spider-Man by tomorrow. Do I want to roll the dice, or should I just let well enough alone? I'm gonna let that guy. I'm gonna let him be, because I don't really want to be Spider-Man. I like being Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I wouldn't be able to do car reviews anymore. I would have to fight crime. I love the way on the bottom you do have the moonstone gray on the lower lip, and the way that they sculpted the corners here gives it a nice bit of attitude when you're looking at it from the front. But let me know what you think about the updated front end on this Mark 8.5 GTI. Now, as we rise up, that smooth bend to the hood, I love the way they notch out the area for the badge. Volkswagen has been around since the 1930s, if you could believe that. Coming around the bend, we do have new wheels for 2025. On this SE trim, you have machined aluminum. You're gonna have still the brakes, updated brakes. They took those from the old Golf R with the with the red paint, making them pop. You also do get the enlarged rotors. So it wasn't just the calipers, but also the rotors as well from the previous generation Golf R. It's a usual Volkswagen style wheel with the machined aluminum, the gloss black. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 18-inch wheel. Tires are going to be 225 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and the GTI is still front-wheel drive. If you want all-wheel drive, you got to go Golf R. The great news is it does have a limited slip diff. Now coming down the side, they changed the location of the GTI badge and they enlarged it. They got rid of the trim. I would prefer if this was here. So I am gonna zonk it, but I do like the way they have a GTI badge on the side. Just move it here on the actual fender, not on the door. Now up top, you are gonna get a sunroof. I wish they would have painted the whole roof black. That would have been a nice touch to make it all blend in super clean. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do have color matched on the door handles, a little bit of flat black on that side sill extension. Working our way towards the rear, you got the red tomato sauce painted calipers, just like up front. And then spinning around back, it's so easily identifiable. When you see a GTI, you just know it. Nice long roof spoiler with a little bit of kick up. Exposed wiper is okay because this is a hatchback. It's not an SUV. You got your Volkswagen badge, which is also where you're gonna pop the rear hatch. The GTI badge, super clean. And then working our way down the ground level, I love the way you got the two stainless steel polished tips, nice round opening, clean cut, one on each side for that turbocharged engine to do its business. But let me know what you think about the color and the changes on the outside. We're gonna pop the hood and see if there's any updates underneath it. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I'm not gonna zonk it. It's been there since the 1980s. I wish they would have put a GTI badge on the engine cover, but it is a decent looking engine cover at least. Unfortunately, unlike the Golf R, the GTI still has the same amount of horsepower and torque as last year's model. So you're looking at a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 241 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to only one transmission now. That's the saddest part of the news. It's the 7-speed DSG. It's a great gearbox, but me personally, I would prefer the 6-speed manual. 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, quarter mile in 14 seconds flat, top speed 130 miles an hour, MPGs 24 in the city, 32 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,293 pounds. Now the nice thing is, like I said, with those larger rotors, you got 13.4-inch rotors up front, 12.9-inch rotors out back, so you're gonna have the balance of the performance, the power, the handling, and the braking, which is the three main things that really has made the GTI so popular. Of course, on top of that, the price, but we'll get to that in a second. Before we do, let's fire up this GTI and hear if it makes any sound. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Volkswagen Golf GTI, this being an SE trim. So it starts at S, next level is SE. Now, if you want to know what a base GTI is all about, I've already done a review of that one. I'll leave the link at the end of this video review. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this GTI? I have a lot of daily driving to do, but I want to have fun. I don't want to drive an SUV. I don't want to drive a regular sedan. I don't want to drive a truck. I don't want to drive a Jeep. I don't want to ride a motorcycle. I don't want to ride a skateboard. I want a GTI. I want something that's fun to drive. How much is it? Very good question. MSRP, the way this one is optioned, is right at $39,000. But let's see if SE trim is the way to go. To the door panels, I do like the way they updated the materials. So you have soft touch black up top, a little bit of this, I don't want to call it faux carbon fiber because it's not trying to be carbon fiber, but it's got almost like a snake skin kind of texture to it. Kind of just gives a little bit extra pizzazz. Then we have Alcantara in the middle, which is nice. Soft armrests, no gloss black around the window switchgear or the door locks. And then the door pocket is extra large. You can literally get a 14-inch Wiener Schnitzel in there and a bratwurst on a hoagie bun, plus room for a Yeti bottle of root beer. Now going from the door panel to the dash, we got the Harman Kardon sound system, soft touch on the material, more of that nice trim that they did. I'm glad it's not gloss black. Slide on in, you're getting the updated 12.9-inch infotainment system. Now, the challenge is it's all within the screen, right? But they did make some improvements to it. You have 3 stages of heated seats. You have your AC controls. You just hit the little guy here. This is where you can adjust your fan speed and everything. You could actually bring up all the climate controls, but it's not dual climate, it's standard climate. So you got your blower fan and then your temperature. Actually, yeah, just it's single climate. I thought it was dual climate, but it's single climate. Heated steering wheel, 3 stages of heated steering wheel. And then of course, we could bring up your favorites. One of my things that's my favorite to shut off is that pesky auto start-stop feature. Of course, the traction control. We could pull up all the different icons and apps, your driving modes. Of course, we're going to be going full sport, but you can make your own custom mode. And they have ambient lighting. Talk about fruit stripe gum. It only lasted about 2 seconds, but you have all the colors of fruit stripe gum all by the touch of your finger. I mean, that's pretty neat when you could make all those adjustments, or you could even do moods. Like Steven a lot of the time is either in desire mood or euphoria, one of the two. I can't get him out of those 2 moods. Let me throw it into reverse, backup camera, decent resolution, not the greatest, but not the worst either. Better than a Honda Civic Si, that's for sure. I do like the trajectory. And then we're right back almost to where we started. If I come here and then I do that, we're right back. Now you do have quick access buttons. So if I hit this, mode immediately comes up. Or if I hit climate, climate immediately comes up. But other than that, everything is in the screen. It's in the sports. Down below, you do have a place for 4 Twinkies, or you could have your wireless charging going on. You could put some Slim Jims here. Steven's a big fan of not only Randy the Macho Man Savage, but also his Slim Jims. This little nub right here is going to control your 7-speed dual clutch transmission. No more manual. A bit of gloss black, but it's nothing too crazy. You hit this, puts you in a park, and you got your nice silver start-stop button. Over here, it looks like you have no cup holders, but watch. You do have a cup holder. Cup holder, place for some Tic Tacs. You do have a 12 volt, which is nice. There's your Volkswagen key fob. It's very classy key fob. And then we have the soft touch with the red stitching. Watch this. You could actually extend it, so you could be down here thinking about what your future plans are. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You should be asking yourself that on a regular basis. Lift it up. You got enough room in there. I would say probably 2 Rubik's Cubes. So if you're going to enter the championships and drive your GTI there, you could keep your 2 cubes. I've never been a fan of successfully solving a Rubik's Cube. What I used to do as a kid is peel the stickers off and then match them up and hope that nobody noticed. But people notice, because whatever they do with those stickers, you can't peel them off very cleanly. Usually they get screwed up somewhere. And then the seats. New for 2025. I love the GTI embroidery, the Alcantara, the red, the nice way that they did the sides. Now the Zonkes is that you have manual bottom, but you have electric back. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they can't just give you a full electric seat. But you do have a standard size sunroof, which is nice. Well, why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the flat bottom wheel in this GTI. Hi guys, business time behind the wheel. Pedal box, right out of a race car. There's my aluminum dead pedal, aluminum brake, aluminum throttle, just no more clutch, no more manual transmission. You do have your power seat control for the back. This is for your height adjustment. It is manual, and then you have to slide the seat like this. Kind of stupid that they do that, especially for 39 Gs. Seats though are comfortable. Always have done a great job with their seats. Nice side bolstering, and then the steering wheel. It's a wheel that you want to rub your hand all over, maybe even your face or your feet. I love the perforated leather, the smooth, the GTI badge. They went back and got rid of that stupid haptic touch thing for your steering wheel. So now it's not as easy to turn on the heated steering wheel as it was on the previous model year. And you do have paddles. They're small, about the size of a postage stamp, to go up and down that 7-speed DCT transmission. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you have that 10-inch digital gauge cluster, which you could change the way that the information is viewed, which is really nice, all by the press of a button. You got the G meter, so you can find the G spot very easily. And like I said, you got the Harman Kardon sound system. But why don't we go ahead, let's get the back seat and see if there's enough room back there for your passengers in this GTI. All right, guys, backseat time. And there's always been this thing with modern GTIs, especially, where you could feel the elevation of the materials, much more higher quality materials than you'd find in a Subaru WRX or even a Honda Civic Si. Of course, now you have the new Elantra N and the N line, but still nicer materials in this GTI. Now, if you like pockets, this thing has more pockets than your old jean stonewash pants that you used to wear. So you have pockets up top. This is where you could keep maybe some Charleston Chew. They still make Charleston Chew? I used to love Charleston Chew. And then down below, this is where you could put your 2-pound bag of Twizzlers. You do have a little area here for some Tootsie Rolls. I do like the way you have rear AC vents, 2 USB-Cs. Of course, you have a drive shaft tunnel that's very high. This is for the Golf R. It's not for you. It's for the Golf R. Sitting here, though, seats are comfy. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room, and you even get a nice armrest. Just enough room for an arm with 2 cup holders. And I like the way they did the materials, just like up front. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to take it for a little spin in this GTI. All right, obviously if we're reviewing a hot hatch, we gotta pop the hatchback to see what we're working with. This is another one of those things that's made the GTI so successful, is the cargo space. So with the rear seat up, you are looking at 20 cubic feet of space. You fold down the rear seat, that's gonna bump it up to 30 cubic feet of space. Love the way that they have the nooks on both sides for a couple bottles of Yoo-Hoo, and look at what we have. You do get a spare, which is fantastic. Another fun trick is, watch this. You need a little bit more room. I just gave you a little bit more room. I just dropped the cargo floor another few inches, so that'll get even higher things in here, or I should say taller things, higher things. Great news is, seats fold down, lickety split. I'll move the front seat so that it goes down all the way. But as you can see, 60-40 split, nice and flat. You could go to Costco and really do some damage, not only to your wallet, but also to the supplies, because you could fill this bad boy up. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go on throttle and take this GTI for a little spin. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Of course, we got to go on throttle from a dead stop. On throttle, here we go. So really snappy with the acceleration. Obviously, the traction control was fighting to get grip because it is front wheel drive, but with the limited slip diff, it definitely helps out, especially in the corners. Very, very balanced. That's one of the things I've always liked about this car, is that it's super balanced. When it comes to daily usability, I don't think there's any other compact sport performance car that is as usable as this car is. From the cargo space to the passenger volume and space, everything just really comes together nicely in this package. And I just love the overall size of the car as well. I mean, it's easy to drive in traffic. It's easy to see your visual reference points. You could have fun with the car on your daily commute. You could then hit the twisty bits and have even more fun. I'm gonna go ahead and use the paddles. When it comes to the dash, I love the view where you have the tachometer in the center, your G-spot meter, and of course, the gear indicator right there, smack dab in the center. But very fast shifts from that DSG It's a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. I do miss, though, the manual. It was a good manual too. Now, you'll notice that there is sound being pumped in through the speakers. Nothing too obnoxious, but definitely not as loud on the outside as it is on the inside when it comes to that sound. But it's just it's a fun car to drive. It's an easy car to drive and an easy car to drive fast. Very, very balanced. Look at this. Puts a smile on my face every time I get behind the wheel of one of these. Really, really does. And the fact that I can have this much fun just on these little backside streets, I mean, kind of just tells you how good of a car this is. Downshifts are super smooth, keeps the chassis nice and stable. Even over the bumps, watch. The tuning that they did to the suspension, the adaptive suspension, is really nice. Very, very balanced. And then what's cool is you do get some pops and bangs out of the exhaust, which is good. You do hear that outside, which is nice. On throttle, here we go. But like I said, just very easy to drive. Very maneuverable. U-turns are a snap. Brakes feel good. And then of course there is a cult following for the GTI for all the different generations, not just the new ones and not just the old ones, which is nice to be part of that club. Look at the way it handles. That limited slip diff really makes a big difference, and this is something that it's good that it's here, because for it to be a real performance compact car, it needs to have that limited slip diff. Getting to the 12.9-inch infotainment system is well within reach. And I do like the way the SE is equipped. It's not bare bones, but it's also not as fully loaded as an Autobahn. On throttle! That was in second gear. And the seats are superb. They're absolutely superb. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of what the GTI is bringing. We're gonna get back to Volkswagen of Brandon and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys, what can I say? Never a dull day when you get behind the wheel of the OG of hot hatches. Definitely got to thank Paul and the rest of the team here at Volkswagen Brandon for getting us access to this SE trim. Remember, we already brought you the S. I'll leave the review of that one at the end of this one. This is the SE trim. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. For 2025, is this the best way to spend your compact sport performance car money? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Got to give up to Stephen Flood. Thankfully, he has not lit a match yet, because there is a gas leak somewhere where we're filming. But we'll worry about that later. Thank you, Stephen, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.